Welcome to another episode of I Struggle podcast with your host, Mona Brun. On today's podcast, our guest is Fatima Balde, and Fatima is the founder of Girl Move Forward. She helps and she inspires women to move forward, to go after their dreams, to realize their worth, to start self-loving journey, and many more. On today's episode, we discuss self-love journey, celebrating yourself, celebrating your success, realizing your abundant life in many forms, but also about hustle culture, perfectionism, and impressing people with the wrong things. I don't know if I've ever actually mentioned that on podcast, that why I started doing it, why I started I Struggle. I started I Struggle because I really wanted to show people that we all struggle and we all have struggles, no matter where we come from, what we have, what we don't have. We all go through certain struggles in our lives. And through this podcast, I want to normalize being a human with imperfections, being a human with struggles, being a human with all of the aspects of being a human. And my initial goal is to show you that we are all the same. And there's no shame to be, to feel, to struggle, to experience certain things. That's why my guests share their struggles, what they struggle with right now or what they struggled in the past. Because I think this way you can relate to it, I can relate to it. And I think that through talking about them, we normalize them that way, and we take the stigma and shame of people that struggle. And that's why I struggle. That's why I started I Struggle. And I'm very happy and very grateful and honored to have this opportunity to talk to such an amazing people with such an amazing personalities, heart and souls. And I love how we celebrate individualism and show different perspectives of life, and we can just discuss them and to be open-minded. And I love the fact that I can learn so much from different people, and I can take different opinions into consideration because it helps on my journey so much. It helps so much that I can't even show you how much, but it really does. And I want you to listen to this episode today because self-love journey can be very bumpy, and it's not easy sometimes, even if you've been working on your self-improvement for such a long time. And I think when we talk about self-improvement, we talk about doing, constantly doing. But also, big part of self-improvement is stopping and resting, relaxing, and doing things that bring you joy. Because self-improvement can be very exhausting. You can't improve yourself constantly every single day, because that sounds like a perfectionism for me. And there's no such a thing as perfect human. And it's a very big part of healing and self-loving journey to stop and rest and don't feel guilty about it. And that's what this episode is about loving who you are and celebrating who you are, no matter where you come from, and sometimes stopping and looking back how far you have come, looking back 2, 3, 5 years ago, how far you have come and appreciate yourself, and become the woman that you wish to be. Because you are not a finished product. Enjoy this episode with Fatima and me. So today I want to chat about self-worth and boundaries and our values, and how can we build our self-worth, and how can we create our own values? Because I feel like with our upbringing and families, sometimes we take values that are not aligned with us, but we have them unconsciously, and we are unaware that we can change them, you know. So how can we create them?
How can we create values? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
It's a very good question. I think that in my case in particular, I have values that are quite similar to my mom's values in many ways, but that there are things that I have encountered in my life that maybe have made me have a different point of view about things, and then help me develop a different set of values. So I think just understanding that I am not my family. I don't need to have the same views as them. I don't have to have the same values as them. It is okay for me to be my own person. It is okay for me to set my own standard and walk my own path. But in many ways, some things that I own, some values that I own, are very similar to my mother. See someone who is very much about community, very much about togetherness. And as you can probably tell, I'm very much like that too.
Yes,
I'm very
absolutely.
much about, I think that when you have support around you, you can flourish. And my
True.
mom is also very much like that. But there are values that maybe I hold that are not um, as as similar to hers. So, for example, respect is a very important thing to me. I'm sure it is important to my mother, or my dad, or
Yeah.
my family. But for me, it's something that is extremely
Yeah.
important, and it's something that I hold to a very high standard. And it is something that I demonstrate to other people. So I try to respect everyone around me, no matter what age, no matter what background, no matter what. And it's something that I expect from people also. So I would say one value that I hold that's very dear to me is respect. Respect is a very, very big thing for me. Honesty is a very big thing for me. Maybe for my family, it may not be the same. Uh, in my culture, we are very much like, we won't tell you things, straight into your face. We would wait,
Yeah.
maybe when people are not around you, to tell you how we actually feel. Whereas me, I'm not necessarily like that. If I feel something, I will
Yes.
tell you on the spot. I don't like holding things within me. I like to let them out, because it doesn't.
Also, I think like saying straight forward, it just helps you to avoid any like misunderstandings with people. Because I think
Exactly.
if you don't communicate, that's your boundary. If you don't communicate something with people, they don't know that they might hurt you, the things that you might not like. So I think it's really important to communicate it that straight away to people.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. But I think that I only developed this values that are very different to my families and my culture, because um I am my own person, and
Yeah.
because I had parents that allowed me also to be my own person. They didn't necessarily like, you have to be like this, you have to. I was in an environment where I was allowed to be and think the way I think.
That's
And
that's very unique in
I
this
think that's
world.
extremely
Yeah.
important. Yes.
Yeah.
I was very lucky in the type of mother
Yeah.
that I have. And yeah, the type of mother that I have.
Mm-hmm.
She's someone who always wants me to succeed and do better and be better. So I was extremely lucky in that sense. But if you are in an environment where you don't have that level of support, it's very much about you, I guess, making those boundaries clear, making sure that the people that you have around you know exactly how you feel, making sure that you are okay with not having everybody agreeing with you and thinking the same way as you, because it's not, it's not going to happen.
Of
Even
course,
though, again, my family, we are so different in so many ways, but we are similar in many ways.
Yeah.
So where I come from, women don't go to school. My mom never went to school, never went to university. My aunties, my cousins, it's something that we have never done. So I was the first person in my family that ever went to university. My mother had an arranged marriage. She married my dad at 15 and she had me at 16. So again, from a very traditional sort of background where we only marry people from a particular caste. And because I had the type of mother that I had, I was able to fly. She said, "You're not going to have the life that I had.
Wow.
And I want you to go and have go for school and have education and marry someone that you genuinely love, marry someone that you're genuinely passionate about, and just be your own woman." So if I didn't have that, I guess maybe things could have been more difficult. But my words is just to share how you actually feel. Let people know that this is who I am.
Yeah, that comes back to communication. And me personally, I always struggled with communicating because I never wanted to hurt other people, or I never wanted to have those difficult, uncomfortable conversations with other people, because that would make me extremely uncomfortable, and that would stress me out to say how I feel about certain situations. But I think that's caused by the environment I grew up with, when we never spoke about how we feel. We just basically suppressed all of the emotions and feelings, and just, have that silent treatment and not talk about things that really matter and pretend that nothing happened and just move forward. And that really affects my adult life right now, when I have to learn how to communicate it, even if it still makes me so stressed and uncomfortable. But if I don't do that, then it causes so many issues in the relationships and friendships and basically any relation that I would have. So that's extremely important. And I can imagine that people that grew up in the families, when talking about your feelings and being free and being just yourself, is difficult when you're adult. So you try to fit in some communities, or pretend the person that you're not, because you don't see your beauty and you don't have your values in place and you don't see your worth, basically. So it takes a lot of work to do that, and that's just crazy, and it's not easy in this world these days.
100%. It takes time, and I think just understanding that it does take time. Not everyone communicates in the same way. Not everyone is as vocal as me, for example. I wasn't always a vocal person. I've always communicated in writing. Writing is something that I'm very comfortable in. So if I have to write in a piece of paper how I feel, "Mom, you made me feel this way when you said this," I would say it to her. And just find what would make things easier for you. How can you let this person know how you feel? Is there a gesture? Is there an action that you can take? Is there something that you can do? For example, again, I'm going to use my mother as an example. She's not as communicative as me, even though she's not like that. She communicates with actions. So she will do something, right? She can say, "I'm sorry for what I did," but then she will communicate with action, like, "Do you want to eat?"
Oh yeah, food.
Yes. You know what I mean? "Do you want to eat?" Or here's some food, or she will cook your favorite meal, or she will take you out, or she will, do you know what I mean? She will do something that you love, like something that you're generally passionate about. Or when you're feeling very low, she will make sure that you are comfortable, that everything you need is there. "Do you want to watch a movie? I know that you really love that movie. Do you want to watch it together?" Or when you're singing a song, she comes and joins in and sings the song with you. So it could be little things like that, little actions, but that's how she demonstrates how she's feeling, and also how much she loves you, right? So everybody is different. And I think understanding that is also very important. Our parents are not like us. Our friends are not like us. They don't communicate like us. Maybe